Hello, this is Joseph, and I'm here to do a presentation on my final project. So, this is an app that was designed mainly for attendance. That's a student attendance management app. And I'm here to walk you through the backend, the codes that will use the front end, and how this app was built. So, let's start by running our app. It begins with a splash screen that introduces you to the landing page. Let me enlarge this so that we go through the app. So this is my landing page, like I said. Once you place the pointer on the nav bar, you realize there is a hover effect that indicates what's available. On the help button, we have frequently asked questions that the user can access concerning this app. So back to the home. Now, once a new user joins the app, he has to sign up, which is using the get started app, the get started button. Once you sign up by putting in your information and your details, you confirm by clicking the sign up button. So it's a requirement that you fill out with your name, you enter your email, you create a password, and then you confirm the password. So let's walk through that. So full name, I just want to create an entire new account so that we look at how it works. So let's create a password. This is our password. Now you choose the role. So let's say an admin, and you sign. Once you sign up, it gives you the option to save your password, and it also moves you to the dashboard for the admin app once you sign up as an admin. So once you sign up as an admin, you have access to the dashboard for an admin. Now on this dashboard, you can find features like classes where you start a new class. So an example will be I key in the class I want to create. So let's say I want to create a code class. So this is a code class. Now I need a code. So I create a code as in CC102. That's a code. Now I create a class. So once I create a class, the class that I created over here, it comes right here. It's recorded over here. So you can see code class. It's recorded over here as a code class. Now these names you find over here are students that have already signed up on the app. Once the student signs up on the app keeps the data of the students. So the student becomes part of the app. So in a sense, when the student is supposed to join the app or use the app again, all he does is log in. He doesn't go back to sign up. So once you sign up, automatically your name is updated into the database. And there is also a feature that allows the admin to authenticate whoever has signed up using whoever has signed up as a student. So the admin authenticates to give permission to either join or not join. So these students have been accepted by the admin into the system so that I can have a better illustration. So now that the students have been accepted, so far as I've created a class, I have to save the class. So now I save my class. Now I come to start session where I start a class. So once I start the session, I have to give the class that I created. So I created code class. This is it. It has a date, a time, and everything. Then I start the session. Once I start the session, it's saying assign students. It means students have not been assigned. So it means I have to come back to my class, my classes. So once I click on it, it brings me back to students, where now I have the list of students that are in my database, in my system. So all I do is I assign the students to the classes I want them to join. So I assign Ben South to code class. I assign Big Joe to code class as well. And I assign XYZ to code class as well. I assign this person as well to code class as well. Now, an important feature is you have to save all those that you are assigning to the class so that the system keeps track of them. So once I hit on Big Joe, I have to save Big Joe into code class. Now Big Joe is in code class. I have to save XYZ into code class. He's also into code class. So now the total number of students I've saved into code class, it will show over here. Once I assign them to the class, it will show over here. So now I've done 4 people. So you realize total students are shown. Assigned to class is 4. But there was already a class in session. That's why we are seeing a total class of 5. So now I have 5 people assigned. And then it gives me a notification that I've started a class. And these are people, these were previous ones that are done. But this is the current notification that I've started the class. So once I start the class, a session, I now come and then create a start session. Once I add the students, I can now come and create the start session, which is my code class, and then the date, and I start the session. Once I start the session, this is a manual attendance form. So this one, the admin or the teacher can directly mark the attendance. If the students are in class, he can directly say, okay, Ben South is present, so I mark Ben South. Big Joe is present, so I mark Big Joe. If XYZ is absent, he can decide to mark absent, leave it absent. If he was late, he can decide to mark late. If Joe Jedi was present, he can decide to mark Joe Jedi. If he's absent, he decides to mark absent. Now he saves attendance, and then the attendance is recorded. There is a feature for the admin to also export attendance and then get it in PDF form. Once he does that, attendance report has been captured in PDF form. Now I want to take you back to the student dashboard as well, and then show you what happens on the student dashboard as well. So let's go back. Okay, so now I'm already using a student that's already in my system. So all I do is I have to log in. Let me log in. This is login as a teacher. Let me go back. So this is a student that's already in my system. So let me use these details. So exactly, this is the student dashboard. Once the student logs in, so far as he's already signed in into the class, his information is kept. But once the student logs in, he moves directly to the his dashboard. So it says welcome Big Joe. That's the name, the username of the student over there. Now on my dashboard, attendance has already been marked present because the teacher did it in person. But if the teacher had not done it manually over there on the teacher's dashboard, let's say it was an online class, there would be a button over here. That's the mark my attendance, where the student clicks on to submit his attendance, and it reflects on the teacher's dashboard as well. So it goes both ways. You can either record your attendance manually on the teacher dashboard or on the student's dashboard, and it reflects. So over here, I have my attendance where I have attendance history. So it gives me records of all the classes I've joined over here. Now I have my records over here, which tells me in the days, months, weeks. So in a day, maybe let's say I've attended Monday, I was absent, Tuesday, I was present. It gives me that information over here. And there is a weekly summary, which is also the same as this one. There is a log out option that allows you to log out. Now I want to take us back to the teacher dashboard as well. The teacher or the student or the admin dashboard as well. Okay, so let me log in as an admin. Okay, so we're back to the admin dashboard. Now, over here, I want to explain something about this graph. The attendance rate has to do with per class. So once the teacher starts the class, he compares the attendance rate by the number of students that have joined the class. So it gives him the details. So if it is present today, 5 students have joined the class. Out of the five people, let's say the number of students that were assigned to the class were 20. It gives him the attendance rate pertaining to that class. And then it shows him how many people have not been able to join that were already assigned into the class. So you assign the students over here to the class. Once you assign Ben South to the class, you save it, and then it's recorded that Ben South is assigned to that class because he belongs to that class. Now, once the teacher wants to start the session, he hits on this button and then he creates a class. Once he creates the start session, he can mark the attendance directly from here. But once he creates the start session, if he doesn't want to mark the attendance, it goes to the student's dashboard. There's a notification that a session has been started where the student marks the attendance right from their dashboard, and it reflects over here on the teacher's dashboard, showing how many people are present and those absent. So basically, this is how the app works, and this is how the attendance management app works. Now, I want to take you to a PowerPoint presentation. Okay.